In the Shiva Purana, Sanat Kumara says to Vyasa, "The very thing that gives us pleasure in the beginning can later become a cause of sorrow. Therefore, the truth is that no object is by itself a giver of happiness or sorrow. Happiness and sorrow do not exist in objects. They arise within our own mind. They are the result of our thinking, attachment, and perspective. That is why it is said that happiness and sorrow are only states of the mind. The ultimate truth is knowledge. That very knowledge makes us understand the true nature of life. This entire universe is an expansion of knowledge, and in this world, nothing is greater than the knowledge of the supreme reality. But the question is, how can this truth be known? The path to it is Tapasya. Tapasya does not mean merely enduring pain. It means disciplining the mind, the senses, and the inner consciousness. That which seems impossible, that which appears very far away, that which cannot be attained through ordinary effort, even that can be accomplished through Tapasya. The power of tapas is so great that nothing higher than it is considered. Sanat Kumara further says, "O great sage, those who do not practice tapasya cannot attain the formless realm of Shiva." The formless realm of Shiva means that divine state of Shiva which is not bound by any form, shape, or limit. It is a symbol of that highest level of consciousness where the soul moves toward liberation. In other words, tapasya is not merely a spiritual practice. It is the path that goes beyond the mind toward knowledge and beyond knowledge, toward the supreme consciousness of Shiva. Those who do not practice tapasya cannot attain the peaceful, pure, and divine realm of Shiva. Tapasya alone is the main path to receiving the grace of Lord Shiva. It is clear that by the power of tapas alone, gods, sages, and seers experience joy in heaven. Accept this statement of mine as true. The Shiva Purana says, "A person receives the fruit of tapas according to the feeling and intention with which it is performed." Tapas is also said to be of three types: Sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. That means tapasya is not only about the act itself. The feeling behind it is equally important. Therefore, tapas should be understood properly. If tapas is performed with a pure, peaceful, and clean mind, then it is sattvic. Sattvic tapas is performed to attain God, to purify the mind, and for spiritual upliftment. There should be no show, selfishness, or desire to defeat someone in it. There should be humility, restraint, and purity in the mind. Sattvic tapas lifts the mind upward. Japa, meditation, and worship done with devotion are considered the highest because they bring auspicious results and elevate life. The tapas that is performed to fulfill some desire or wish is called rajasic tapas. For example, for wealth, power, success, position, fame, or the fulfillment of some special desire. And the tapas that is performed by giving great pain to the body in a harsh manner is called tamasic tapas. But an important point is stated here. Rajasic and tamasic tapas too can fulfill a person's desires in their own way. When someone performs tapas through ignorance, stubbornness, or by giving excessive pain to the body, that means there is no balance in the tapas, no understanding, and the method is harsh or wrong. If tapas is done for desire, power, name, or reward, then it is rajasic. If the purpose of tapas is to obtain some specific desire, if someone performs tapas to gain a special siddhi or does some worship so that he may gain wealth, position, or fame, then that tapas is rajasic tapas. If there is cruelty, stubbornness, hatred, or the intention to harm in tapas, then it is tamasic. This makes the mind hard, restless, and dark. And if tapas is done with wrong intention, violence, or evil purpose, then it is tamasic. If tapas is done with pure devotion, then it is sattvic. If tapas is done for fulfillment of desire, then it is rajasic. If tapas is done through stubbornness, ignorance, or by causing pain to the body, then it is tamasic. According to the Shiva Purana, among all kinds of tapasya, Sattvic tapas is considered the highest because it is the path of pure feeling, devotion, and spiritual upliftment. In Sattvic tapas, the mind is first made calm and steady. The seeker first reduces the restlessness of the mind. The mind is constantly running outward into thoughts, desires, memories, and fears. The first step of tapasya is to bring the mind back again and again so that it does not remain scattered but learns to stay in one place. Only when the mind becomes steady does spiritual practice begin to deepen. This happens through meditation. This comes through practice. Once the mind is calmed, then the breath is disciplined. Breath is not merely inhaling and exhaling. It is the bridge between the mind and life force. When the breath is fast, unstable, or heavy, the mind too remains disturbed. But when the seeker observes and regulates the breath with awareness, peace begins to arise within. Therefore, pranayama is considered an important part of tapasya, because to discipline the breath is to discipline the inner energy. 3 types of pranayama are described. Rechaka equals exhaling the breath. Puraka equals inhaling the breath. Kumbhaka equals holding the breath for some time. After the breath is steadied, the senses are brought under control. The seeker does not allow the senses to keep running toward outer objects all the time. The eyes, ears, tongue, skin, and mind remain constantly entangled in outer things. Pratyahara means gradually turning them inward, moving away from outer attractions and coming toward inner peace. When the mind becomes calm, the breath becomes balanced and the senses become restrained, then the seeker begins to feel the deeper nature within. This is inner consciousness, the state in which a person no longer remains only body or thought but begins to know his true existence. But however simple this may sound, it is not so simple. It is a tapasya, a deep discipline that takes a person toward the Turiya state. The Turiya state is regarded as a very high spiritual condition. Kashta avastha, Mrita avastha, and Harita avastha are considered 3 deep stages of spiritual practice. In Kashta avastha, the seeker's body and mind become so steady that he appears motionless like a piece of wood. That is, restlessness becomes very little. Mrita avastha does not mean actual death, but a state in which the seeker begins to rise above body identification, ego, and outer attractions, as though the pull of the world is hardly affecting him anymore. Harita avastha can be understood as that condition in which a new consciousness, freshness, and spiritual awakening begin to manifest within. In simple words, these 3 states show the progressive depths of spiritual practice. First, complete stillness, then the fading of ego and body consciousness, and finally the rise of a new inner awakening. When the seeker advances deeply through all these, then within him such capacities, experiences, or states of consciousness may awaken, which are called Siddhis. But the Shiva Purana explains that attaining Siddhis is not the greatest thing. What are the 8 Siddhis? In tradition, the 8 Siddhis that are spoken of are these: Anima, the power to make oneself extremely subtle; Mahima, the power to become extremely vast; Lagima, the power to become very light; Garima, the power to become very heavy; Prapti, the power to reach a desired object or place; Prakamya, the fulfillment of will or desire; Ishitva, the power of control or lordship; Vashitva, the power to bring under control. In spiritual language, these are not regarded only as miracles. Many people also understand them as extraordinary states of consciousness. But the scriptures repeatedly say that these are not the destination of spiritual practice, but the fruits received along the way. It is believed that Siddhis may be attained through deep Tapasya, Pranayama, meditation, and control of the senses. But the important point is that the Shiva Purana does not place the emphasis on Siddhis. It emphasizes the consciousness beyond them. They are not the final goal. The final goal is knowledge, Shiva consciousness, or the Turiya state. The greatest thing is to purify the mind, the life force, and the consciousness so deeply that the seeker may reach a high state like Turiya. Ultimately, Tapasya is not the name of outer hardship, but the path of inner purification. It lifts a person from distraction to steadiness, from steadiness to knowledge, and from knowledge to the supreme consciousness of Shiva. This is the secret of tapas. This is the essence of spiritual practice. And this is the profound message of the Shiva Purana. If you enjoy such deep and simple explanations, then do subscribe to Sarv Life Consciousness. Here, we explain the Puranas and scriptures in easy language.